He's the future Hall of Fame quarterback for the Saints. He's Drew Brees, who joins us on the show. I was wondering about this. You got drafted first pick, second round, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Were you invited to the draft?
You know what? I'm trying to remember.
Okay.
I think I was, but I didn't want to be one of those guys that was stuck waiting around because there was lots of rumors as to where I was going to get drafted, and so I certainly didn't want to speculate too much as to where I might or might not be drafted.
Where did you think you were going to be drafted?
I had heard a lot of things. I had heard at least two teams that had kind of through the grapevine had told me that I would, if I was there in the late first round, that they would pick me.
Who's that?
And, well, it was the Dolphins, and I believe they chose 24 or 26. They had the 24, 26 pick, something like that. And then at one point it was the Chiefs, but they ended up trading actually for Trent Green right before.
So the Dolphins passed on you twice.
Yes. Yes.
You're not bitter, are you?
All right. No, not at all. It's all worked out the way it's supposed to.
You look at these rookie quarterbacks, and I knew we were going to have you on, and I don't know if you could actually give advice that would be pertinent to all of them, because some are stars, some are emerging stars, some probably won't play in the NFL. But if you gathered, let's say, the top 10 quarterback prospects, what could you tell them that would help them, A, when they're drafted, and B, their first game that they play?
What I realized by going through that process is that it's not how high you get drafted, it's where you go. It's about ending up in the right situation, with the right scheme, with the right coach. I think the competitive nature in you wants you to be drafted as high as possible because you feel like that's your worth, and of course, when you have such a strong quarterback draft, receiver draft, as this one appears to be, I think in your mind you think, I want to get drafted ahead of all these guys because, I want to be better than all these guys. And yet, at the end of the day, it's about ending up in the right situation, in the right place where you can grow and develop and you kind of become the best that you can be within that system.
But I also look at guys, there have been really talented quarterbacks who didn't make it, and a lot of times that confidence is the first thing to go. And I say this with all respect to Russell Wilson. If he was on Jacksonville, we probably wouldn't know much about him. Colin Kaepernick's with the Niners, Russell Wilson with Seattle. So you're with a winning team that doesn't require you to do everything. Whereas if Manziel goes to Jacksonville or Blake Bortles, those guys are in for a rude awakening. Don't you think?
Well, there's definitely a benefit to going to a team that's established, and there's a great culture there. You got great players around you, and you are not required to do maybe as much. And then obviously there's situations where guys are kind of thrown into the fire, and that can be a kind of a hit to your pride and your confidence. If all of a sudden you start losing and you're getting beat up a little bit, and I think naturally, again, the competitor in you feels like you've got to fix all these problems, and so you start to press a little bit. You start to maybe put too much pressure on yourself, and then in most cases that ends up making things even worse. I know I felt like that during my career at times, where you just try to do too much, and at the end of the day, it makes you even worse. So I don't know. That's part of the growing process. That's part of the maturing process. But I'd say in most cases, a young quarterback, it definitely pays dividends to be able to sit back for a period of time and watch and observe before you get thrown into the fire, because you certainly learn a lot that way.
He's Drew Brees, Saints quarterback, joining us, Dan Patrick Show. Last time I saw you was at the Super Bowl, and you went Jerry Maguire on me, jumped up on the desk. This is how it sounded when Drew was proclaiming his love for Jimmy Graham.
I will stand up on your table right now and say I want to have Jimmy Graham back. That make things better?
All right.
All right.
There you go. Drew Brees is going to stand up on the table to say. There you go. Would you give him some of your money, though?
Huh? Would I?
Yeah.
If you needed some, I would.
You would defer?
I would defer.
Defer money?
Sure.
Sure?
Sure.
Did you hear from Jimmy Graham after that?
Yeah. He shot me a text. It was just like, man, I love it. Of course, I can't really say I like being compared to the whole Tom Cruise, Oprah Winfrey scenario there, but that was.
Oh no! That
I
wasn't Tom Cruise on Oprah Winfrey jumping up and down on the couch. It was Tom Cruise from Jerry Maguire with he's yelling.
Oh yeah, with Cuba Gooding.
Yeah, you thought I was talking about him jumping up and down on the couch saying he's in love. Oh, well, sorry about that. But it was it was a different Tom Cruise moment.
Right, I'm my wrong Tom Cruise moment.
Yes,
I got you.
What did Graham say when he heard about it?
He loved it. He was in New York, so I actually saw him at a few events after that. So we were laughing about it. But no, I've stayed obviously in close contact with Jimmy throughout this whole process, and that's exactly what it is. It's a process, and I think it's one of those things you don't take too personal. You just understand it's part of the business, and it takes time. And I'm very confident that things will work out here very soon.
Why did you pick number 9?
Ted Williams. I was a baseball player growing up. I mean, I really, that was my first love. That's what I thought, I really wanted to do, was go and play college baseball, play in the major leagues. So I was a left-handed hitter. So I tried to model my swing after Ken Griffey Jr. He was my guy growing up, but ever since I was a kid, my brother and I used to watch this VHS tape every morning on Sunday morning before church. It was called The Golden Greats of Baseball. And so it went through all the greats, Babe Ruth, Lou Gehrig, Ted Williams, you name it. And the Ted Williams always kind of struck me like that was my guy. That's, the splendid splendor, the purest hitter of all time. That's who I wanted to be. And so in baseball, I wore number 9, and in football, I actually wore number 15. But when I got to the NFL, I said, you know what, I kind of need to make it a new name for myself at this level, and so I went back to the number 9.
That's cool. You're also doing something really neat. The Brees Dream Foundation, there's a raffle. It's netraffle.org. Okay, explain to me what I win if I win the raffle.
If you win the raffle, it's their $2 raffle ticket. You basically, on April 29th, you win me flying to wherever you are in the continental United States, you inviting 11 of your friends to dinner, so all 12 of you, and I'm going to come and have a 90-minute dinner with you, wherever you are. I'm coming to you.
Wow.
And we're going to have dinner, and we're going to hang out. We're going to have a good time, and you also get an Xbox One console from Microsoft, and we just hang out and have a good time, and it's all to raise money for our foundation, the Brees Dream Foundation.
So just go to netraffle.org.
It's that simple. $2 raffle tickets.
What's the biggest tab you ever paid?
Dinner tab?
Yeah.
All right, this is a good one. So we're at Super Bowl. This is the before we play in the Super Bowl back in Miami, Super Bowl 44. And so every Thursday during the year, we have the offensive line dinner, and we kind of rotate who pays for it. I usually pick up a few of them, but each guy kind of picks their spot, and then that's the guy who pays in it. We go in order of tenure, so we start with the young guys and kind of go up to the older guys. Well, at least one of those dinners, Sean Payton always says, hey, I want to pick up a tab for one of these dinners for all you guys. So he hadn't picked one up yet, so I said, all right, Coach, you just get us when we go to Super Bowl. So Monday night, we go in South Beach to a great seafood place. I think it was Prime Seafood or something like that. Anyway, we go there, and there's all the offensive line, but then all of a sudden the running backs show up, then the receivers show up. And so literally it kind of becomes the whole offense. And listen, we're there, we're excited, we're having a good time, but it's those stone crab claws, which, those are like seasonal, right? You only get them like 2 months out of the year. They're like, at the end of the day, it's like $80 per claw. And you don't realize that at the time. You're just ordering them and you're just having a great time. And you're saying, hey, this is Coach Payton's paying for this, right?
Yeah.
He had given me his credit card. Sean Payton was going to pay. But all of a sudden, all these people start showing up. We start ordering all this food. I see the bill at the end of the deal, and I think it was about $8,000. And I said, I am not going to charge Sean Payton's credit card for $8,000, hand it back to him, and say, oh, yeah, by the way, thanks, Coach. So I put it away, and I put it on my card.
Are you kidding me? You got Coach. It's like having your parents' credit card.
Yeah, but you also, I wasn't going to take advantage of that situation. But you know what? When I gave it back to him, he said, how much was it? I said, I didn't charge it. He was like, why not? And I told him the story, and he said, you should have charged it. I was like, Coach, I wasn't going to do that to you. But it's good to know he was ready to shell out close to $10,000 for all the offensive guys to have a good time down at Super Bowl, and obviously it paid off. So.
That was probably Joe's Stone Crab that you went to.
It wasn't Joe's Stone Crab.
Oh, it was not?
Because we went there as well one night. But no, it was this other place that had the stone crabs as well, among other things.
Oh, okay. All right. The site is netraffle.org. Drew Brees, it benefits his foundation. He'll fly anywhere in the continental United States to have dinner with the winner. Great to talk to you, and thank you, Drew. We appreciate it.
No problem, man. Thanks.
All right, Drew Brees.